Hi Pisces, welcome to your love and relationship reading for the month of June. For those of you who are just now tuning in, these are generalized readings, so not everything in the reading may pertain to you. I am available to answer any questions as well as to do private readings and can be reached at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. I like to start off with a reading for my singles, and then I move into a reading specifically for my couples. So with that said, Pisces, it looks like, this month is really going to be about introspection and reflection. And I know for those who are seeking love, that can kind of be, something you don't want to hear. However, and I push this whenever this comes up in my readings, the importance of working on yourself and maintaining that solid foundation so that when you do meet the right person, you have that foundation for the relationship to really grow and flourish. And working through these, really working through issues that you're still needing to process is really beneficial, and the key to, part of the key to having a really successful, long-lasting, healthy relationship. So with that said, it looks like you have been going through a lot. We have the Nine of Wands. Things have really been an uphill battle, but you have that wonderful Pisces attitude where you were able to maintain the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and that light is what really carried you through, these hard times. We also have the card of Judgment. And this has to do with your ability to process and work through these issues, really rising above this situation. And I really love, the saying, associated with Judgment, where you were like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Okay, you've gone through so much, but you're overcoming them and you're in a stronger spot now. And I think that's evident by the Eight of Pentacles, which has to do with you building and working towards, yourself. In order to do that, you're going to be encouraging a positive, loving, healthy relationship into your life. And it seems like, we have the Hermit down here. So I think that this represents a time, in the past, or the foundation of the situation where you were feeling rather alone. And I think that this introspection and reflection has been going on for, quite some time. And or you were in a relationship simply that you felt like you were alone, that you weren't in a relationship ultimately at all. What happened in that relationship is there was lots of elements that weren't known to you, that you were in the dark. And this also touches on, the feeling of you being alone on an island, so to speak. But also this person, which we have the Seven of Swords, keeping things from you, not being directly honest. There was lots of things that were there was lots of other layers that you weren't made aware of. And so what you're seeking now is the Father of Swords, which has to do with seeking the truth, almost demanding it in a sort of way. You're not going to stand for anything that isn't less than the truth. You want a transparent relationship where you don't want to question your partner's motives, or, whether or not simply they're being honest with you, because if you really don't have trust, you really don't have anything. So you in the environment of the future is the Three of Wands, and this has to do with, you building and working on this process, and continuing your plan. I mean, this is something that you've been working towards, and this represents everything coming together. The outcome is the Four of Pentacles, which really highlights you taking this time for yourself to grow, mature, and process these emotions. This is a time for you, Pisces, to really gather your strength and ultimately, so that you can manifest and become this ultimately strong individual as well as a strong partner, in your next relationship. So with that said, I am going to move into a spread for my couples. Usually I switch up my decks, but my Wild Unknown deck is a very special deck to me, and I kind of just want to stick with it. rebuilding and honesty seems to be a common theme for Pisces, whether you're in a relationship or not, for the month of June. We have some heartache that your partner is dealing with. This could be some infidelity, some issues that happened within this relationship. A serious issue happened where it really changed, your partner's outlook, so to speak. And, it doesn't feel like things are generally the same. But your partner has a good attitude. Your partner wants to be present. And I think that ultimately, this issue that I'm seeing, I know I'm jumping ahead, where there was infidelity, I think that this was actually on your partner's part, and you're demanding, truth. So the first card in the spread represents what you're bringing to this relationship, and I think that, this touches, this was part of our singles reading, where our single Pisces were working on themselves and building this inner strength to be, ultimately a better person or stronger person, but also a better partner as well. And this attitude is something that you've brought into this relationship. I think that with you, Pisces, you put your full heart into everything. And when you put your heart or your mind into something, you give it your all, and you're constantly working, trying to strive to be better. Where you are now in regards to this relationship is you're channeling the energy of the Mother of Swords, which has to do with, that wonderful positive nature that Pisces has, but really going after things and taking them head on, but doing so in a way, and I want to say, the word transformation comes where when you attack an issue or address something, your ultimate goal is for things to be better than what they were. And it's something that's very easy for you to do. It's a gift that Pisces actually has, and I think that this stems from this wonderful positive attitude that Pisces naturally carry within. Now, what you're hoping to get from this relationship is the Father of Pentacles. And I think that ultimately, and especially seeing, what's going on over here, that you are really going towards taking a directive role. And also that touches on the Mother of Swords as well, where you're wanting to penetrate, layers underneath. You see that there's more within this person. And I'm wondering if this person, your partner, doesn't always have the best self-esteem. So I think that also you're very good for him or her. You bring out the best in this individual because you see things that not everybody sees, including him or herself. Now, what this partner is bringing into this relationship is the Sun. This person is very happy with you and thinks of you in a very high regard. However, where this person is at in regards to this relationship is the Five of Pentacles. And this could indicate, emotional poverty. This could also indicate maybe some sort of infidelity. And I believe that this can indicate that it was on his or her part, a weakness that happened. And this person, ultimately can never go back to being the same. This person is really beating him or herself up over this issue that happened. And I think that, this issue that happened is really, striving for the truth and seeing underneath, but also recognizing, that your partner does have some weaknesses, but you're not necessarily holding that against him or her. I think that you are being very forgiving, but also taking the attitude, that maybe this happened for a reason, because at the time our relationship wasn't necessarily as strong as it could be. And so you're taking, whatever it is that happened, and you are wanting to rebuild this relationship to make it stronger. Your partner's having a more difficult time and doesn't really necessarily share this wonderful attitude that you have. I don't know if he's one, even though he wants to move forward with this relationship, he or she is wondering if it could ultimately go back to the way it was, which maybe it won't. And necessarily, and I think a lot of times, and I'm not making excuses for when people cheat or mistreat their partners, but I do know certain instances in relationships that, ultimately one of them strayed because the relationship was weak at the time. And I'm not saying that's how it is for every relationship. And again, I'm not saying that's how you treat your partner. But I do think that sometimes this could be the catalyst to address this relationship and make it stronger. So just because something like this happens doesn't mean that, your relationship is ultimately over. And I have a couple who's very close to me who went through this issue, and they're stronger than ever. And there was also an acknowledgement that there were issues before that were being ignored, and a partner, was feeling left out, so to speak, or their needs weren't being met. So how you see your partner is the Daughter of Swords. You don't see your partner is somebody who has a lot of experience. This person has a lot of curiosity, also, in regards to maybe even being like a child, but also very curious as to how to build, this relationship, so to speak. This person has a tendency, though, to lash out with his or her sword, so to speak. Like, I necessarily wouldn't want to cross this individual. Your partner sees you as somebody who wants to rebuild this relationship. Your partner sees you as somebody with hope. And also, I think that touches on the wonderful nature that Pisces generally carry as well. Now, the outcome is the Ace of Cups. So I really think that you guys are going to be able to get through this. In fact, it looks like you guys are going to have a fresh start. And this also touches on, the type of deep emotion that you guys have. And it's because of this deep emotion, which is the center of this relationship, essentially. Like, I think if you have this type of dedication and love for each other, that these things can be overworked. And it looks like you're, in accordance with wanting to forgive him or her, but also wanting to know the truth, having an honest conversation, laying all your cards out on the table so that you could, rebuild that foundation of your relationship. So with that said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. Thanks, you guys.